What's really interesting, without a quota in sight, all these candidates are there on merit. You've got 4 out of the initial 8 are women, and 4 out of the initial 8 are people of colour, diversity candidates, but they're not there because of a quota. They're there because they're absolutely who the Tory party want to see put up and contest the big job. We'll discuss that and a whole lot more with my panel. I'll bring them in now. Sky News contributor Prue McSween and Federal Vice President of the Liberal Party, Tina McQueen. I'll start with you if I can, Prue. I just think this, from the country that gave us Margaret Thatcher and then later on Theresa May, although May's no Thatcher, without a quota in sight, this is just a lovely signal that if you put good people into Parliament, regardless of their agenda, they're going to rise to the top.
Exactly. I mean, I think John just mentioned Kemi Badenoch and how impressive is she? But of course, she's too Thatcherite. They probably won't let her get in. But it is refreshing to see merit and not tokenism. And sadly, we've had in this country too few people, these behind-the-scenes, faceless people who are choosing the candidates based on whether it be, quotas or gender or whatever it is, or factions. And that's why we've ended up with a really lowest common denominator in so many cases. So I wish we could adopt the Tory system. I don't think we ever will, because no one wants to relinquish the power that they control.
Tina?
Unlike the left, the Conservatives in Britain are not obsessed with identity. It's as simple as that. And because of that, the Conservatives may well have their 3rd British female Prime Minister, and Labor have had none. So it's wonderful to see these wonderful women coming through, and I think definitely it'll be a woman, Peter. I think it'll probably be Liz Truss.
Yeah, Braben has a lot of those debates over the weekend.
Yeah, the debates be interesting, but the Boris votes are behind Truss because, of course, Sunak was plotting to bring Boris down, so they're all behind Truss. I think she's a front runner.
Yeah, I'll tell people at home, what happened was Rishi Sunak, Ready for Rishi, had reserved a domain, a website address back in December. Now that's been found out. There's a lot of people that are walking away from supporting him. Hey, now, all credit to the federal government here, Prue. They've made an extension to this humanitarian visa program for displaced Ukrainians. It was meant to end at midnight last night, but because not many people knew about the cut-off, some people have got applications in the mix but not completed. Now, this change in the last 24 hours means that they'll keep this program open for another 3 months. Already we've had 8,500 people come from Ukraine, or at least they've been given visas to come to Australia. Some haven't landed here yet. They get work rights, they don't get welfare, they can study, and they get access to Medicare. So no welfare payments, but Medicare if they need it. I think they are, Prue, absolutely sort of migrants we want in this country, aren't they?
100%. I was just going to say the fighting spirit, the attitude, they're all hard-working, resilient people. This is who we want here. It would have been ridiculous of Albanese, after going to the Ukraine and pledging all this money, not to extend it. And I hope that many of them settle here. That's what we need. They're not queue jumpers. They're the kinds of people we need.
And they meet the definition at international law. That's the most important thing, isn't it, Tina?
Exactly, Peter. They'd be a wonderful addition to our country. And I'll tell you what, they're not coming over here concerned with climate change or any of those ridiculous attitudes. They're here to work and really give to this country. It'd be a wonderful asset, as I said.
They know what an emergency is. All right, let's go to the Middle East. The US president is there. He's in Israel at the moment. He's due to head off to Saudi Arabia. He wants to reset ties there after the Khashoggi murder, and he's got a lot of concerns about this energy gap with Russian gas on its way out. They want to try and replace that energy gap with Saudi oil. Now, it's supposed to be a serious visit, but so far it's been dominated by Joe Biden's gaffes. Have a look at this today.
תודה לנשיא המדינה ולנשיא ארצות הברית. Thank you, President Herzog and President Biden.
It's so embarrassing, Prue.
It is. It's appalling. And I think it's also very sad to watch someone in such a painful situation. He must be feeling so out of his depth, and I just cannot understand how his wife doesn't do something, step in. I mean, it would be bad for the world, but it's bad for the world having him and bad for the world having Kamala Harris. But he's made so many gaffes. When you look at, it's almost a futile visit after he, it's a desperate act to try and get oil from the Saudis after he's criticised them, and rightly so, over the whole Khashoggi thing. But I just feel like the man is so accident prone. I'm always terrified when he opens his mouth.
And then he went to Yad Vashem. This is the Holocaust memorial in Jerusalem. Have a listen.
To honour 6 million Jewish lives were stolen in the genocide, and continue, which we must do every day, continue to bear witness. Keep alive the truth and honour of the Holocaust, horror of the Holocaust.
Oh.
There's a big difference between honour and Holocaust and horror and Holocaust. I mean, I've been to Yad Vashem. Tina, you probably have as well. I think it's one of the most moving places I've ever been on earth. It's no wonder 2/3 of Democrats want to ditch him, isn't it?
Oh, Peter, his gaffes used to be funny. I used to get a giggle out of them. But like you, I've been there, and this is far from funny. Look, it's time to really save the world and put him in a home. Imagine if Trump had have come out with these things, or anyone. They just let them slide by. It is embarrassing, it's sad, and it's time for it to stop.
Hey, poor old Prince William. He's copped a bit of criticism because Prince George went to the men's finals. He was wearing a suit and a tie, as is required in the royal box. The Twitterati went nuts when George complained about being hot. I mean, it's only 28 degrees, for goodness sake, but he complained about being hot. And Dad looks at son and sort of says, suck it up. I think a bit of tough love from Prince William to Prince George, given this kid's going to have the world at his feet in the future. I wasn't that upset to see that. Tina?
I wasn't upset at all.
Neither.
Look, children need discipline. He's a future king. And, the problem is a lot of kids these days just, whinge about everything. It is time for all generations to start sucking things up. And good on Prince William. I think he's producing a really decent heir. Make him experience a little uncomfort.
Tina McQueen, Prue McSween, have a lovely weekend. Thank you for your time.